Right now at 6, a rideshare car smashed after police say the driver got caught in the middle of a domestic violence attack.
And it is when, the victim is trying to leave that violence escalates.
Then, a Portland restaurant owner stuck in Mexico after leaving the U.S. for what was supposed to be a critical step toward legal residency.
After paying, legal fees and going through this process for 6-7 years, why would you not go to your final step?
And the help now available for families left behind when immigration agents detain a loved one.
And we're going to continue to help until the funds are gone.
Plus,
researchers are trying to figure out how to make Christmas trees more resilient. Find out which ones are the strongest coming up.
But first, breaking news and new details about the suspect authorities say shot 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. today. NBC News reporting he is a 29-year-old Afghan national who was last living in Bellingham, Washington, near the Canadian border.
The FBI is calling this a targeted attack and plans to investigate this as an act of terrorism. Though at this point, the motive is unclear. Police say the gunman opened fire on the guardsmen as they stood duty just blocks from the White House. At least one of the Guard members returned fire, hitting the suspect before he was arrested. The guardsmen are in critical condition. West Virginia's governor initially announced that they had died, but later walked that back, saying he received conflicting reports about their condition.
Please send your prayers to those brave warriors who are in critical condition and their families. They are here serving our country. They are here protecting everyday Americans and citizens around the world in our nation's capital.
President Trump has asked the Department of Defense to deploy 500 more troops to D.C. in response to the shooting.
Of course, we'll keep you updated on that. Now to a live look at what continues to be packed and slick highways across the Portland metro. Parts of I-84, I-5, Highway 26, all glowing and red. You can see the raindrops there as well from people making their way to their Thanksgiving destination.
Yeah, pretty busy night out there for sure, with our traffic map showing the areas with the most congestion. As you heard David say, in red, you can see up and down I-5, parts of 205 there with a bit of a backup, it looks like, on I-84 near the I-5 interchange. So let's get right to our chief meteorologist, Matt Sfino.
Matt, early happy Thanksgiving. Walk us through what you're watching tonight and tomorrow.
I'm watching the rain lift north into Washington. We're going to dry it out tonight. I already have in many locations. We actually saw some clearing to the south to Salem. But look, Oregon is largely rain-free right now. There's still water on the roadways, so the cars, traffic kicking up spray. But we'll see things dry out as we go into the overnight hours. But notice there's a little bit of rain offshore. There's a new weather system here that will renew the rain for tomorrow. And as this comes right on into the coast, somewhere around the mouth of the Columbia River, it's also going to produce some wind. That won't happen until later in the day tomorrow, but expect it to get blustery on Thanksgiving afternoon and into the evening hours. Now, the national scene, Chicago's had a lot of delays today. They've had some pretty rough weather in Chicago and Minneapolis, so they're feeling the impacts of that, and we're likely going to have more delays on the East Coast. Not so much on Friday or Thursday, but Saturday and Sunday as a new storm takes shape in the Midwest. For us, though, we're in pretty good shape. We've got the rain tonight, and it's going to decrease. It'll increase, though, during the day tomorrow. It'll be windy at the coast in the afternoon, windy in the valleys in the afternoon, too. Coastal gusts up to about 45 miles an hour. The valleys about 30 or 35. Then we just go into a morning fog pattern for the rest of the weekend. So the weekend will end with dry weather and pretty good driving conditions around the Northwest, guys.
And even that turkey there is loving it. Thanks, Matt.
You bet.
Well, we're also keeping a close eye on PDX, which has seen some delays, 8 departing and 34 arriving, though the vast majority have and still appear to be on time. So a little bit of good news there.
Developing tonight, Vancouver police released video showing a rideshare driver allegedly getting rammed by a passenger's husband in what they're calling a domestic violence incident.
And we want to warn you, this video may be difficult to watch. Let's bring in John Adams live at Vancouver's West Precinct, where the driver and rider ended up. John?
Yeah, David and Christine, even though this incident happened in mid-November, police here are still searching for that suspect that slammed into the back of that ride-sharing vehicle. Police are saying that the ride-share driver likely prevented a tragedy with their courageous act to get away. And we do want to remind you again, this video can be difficult to watch. At around 5 a.m. on November 15th, a rideshare driver picked up a passenger from their workplace in Vancouver. While they were driving away, their car was hit by another vehicle. According to Vancouver police, they were purposely rammed 4 times by the passenger's husband in an apparent domestic violence situation.
It is a testament to the lengths that abusers will go to go after their victims.
Margot Martin, the CEO at Bradley Angle, a local domestic abuse treatment center, tells us domestic violence situations are at their most dangerous when a victim attempts to leave.
Because so much of abuse is power and control and isolation. So if that abuser can keep you away from your friends and your family and your community, then they have complete and total control over you. And it is when the victim is trying to leave that violence escalates.
The rideshare driver was able to get in contact with police while fleeing with the help of a system that automatically triggers when a collision occurs.
Calling 911 right now. This terrifying incident does show how well these types of technologies can work.
Marie Dodd with AAA tells us automatic crash notification systems are believed to save over 100 lives per year and are available on many newer vehicles.
It uses the vehicle sensors, things like a sudden change in speed or the deployment of your airbags to detect a collision and can automatically notify authorities.
Where's the police station at? The rideshare driver and passenger were able to make it safely to Vancouver PD's West Precinct, where they were met by officers.
It's so scary. And to think that this was this survivor's only option, right? And now this other driver who doesn't even know kind of what to expect and what's happening as part of that process too. I mean, it was horrifying.
David and Christine, the rideshare driver was injured in that incident and had to receive treatment at a local hospital. Again, Vancouver police continue to search for the suspect that rammed that vehicle. Back to you.
That video just jarring, making your stomach drop. John Adams reporting live in Vancouver tonight. Thank you, John. And because this story deals with domestic violence, a reminder, help is available. You can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. The number there is on your screen. It is 800-799-7233. You can call it anytime for confidential support. In your headlines, Portland police are investigating after a car hit and killed a pedestrian this morning. It happened on Southeast Cesar Chavez Boulevard near Lincoln Street shortly before 6 o'clock. The driver stayed on scene and is cooperating with investigators.
Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield and 21 other states, including Washington, filed another lawsuit against the Trump administration today, this time to block the federal government from cutting off food assistance for immigrants. The lawsuit challenges new USDA guidance and says refugees or asylum recipients are ineligible for SNAP even after they become permanent residents. The guidance changed under the Trump administration's Big Beautiful Bill, which Rayfield says contradicts federal law that guarantees those benefits.
These are lawful residents. The law is incredibly clear. Why would the USDA be yanking food benefits away from people? Because we actually genuinely thought this could be a mistake. A letter was sent earlier this month. No response was received.
The coalition is now asking the court to block the new guidance and restore any benefits that have been removed.
A judge has granted the Justice Department more time to respond to Oregon's lawsuit over deploying National Guard troops to Portland. Now, the Justice Department will have until January 5th instead of tomorrow. Here's how things stand now. The Ninth Circuit is temporarily allowing troops to remain under federal control while the government appeals a lower court ruling. U.S. Northern Command says 100 troops are still activated, with 100 others in the process of demobilization.
This evening, a Northeast Portland pizza cart is closed after its co-owner and head chef went to Mexico for an immigration interview and was denied re-entry to the U.S.
The case is sending shockwaves through Portland's food scene. Roberto Hernandez Guerrero is an undocumented immigrant who has lived in the United States for more than 20 years, working as a chef in some of Portland's top restaurants and even opening his own, Riva, on Sandy. His son says since he got married in 2019, he's been trying to get permanent residency. That 6-year process led him to a final immigration interview in Juarez. His attorney advised him to go, so he went, but was then denied re-entry to America. Riva is indefinitely closed at this point, and Hernandez Guerrero is separated from his wife and 3 kids, including a 6-month-old boy.
I spoke to him yesterday, and he's looking a little bit more hopeful, after paying, legal fees and going through this process for 6, 7 years. Why would you not go to your final step, if that's what you're supposed to do?
So far, people have raised more than $17,000 for his legal defense. KGW has reached out to Homeland Security for comment.
Nonprofits in Clark County are stepping in tonight, offering rental assistance to families that are suddenly struggling after ICE detained or deported a loved one.
Celine Stevens takes a look at how it works and who qualifies.
For families whose primary wage earner has been detained by ICE, there is some help to make ends meet. One nonprofit and its partners are combining resources to help people be able to pay their rent and avoid homelessness.
I want to say that this is a tragedy that's happening in our community, and we wanted to be able to financially assist.
As of this month, there's now help for families who have lost their head of household to detainment or deportation from ICE.
What we don't want to see is families that are like numbers of families that are being homeless because their head of household is being taken.
The Southwest Washington League of United Latin American Citizens Council, better known as LULAC, spearheaded a rental assistance fund with the help of a couple partner organizations. All Clark County residents have to do is call the rapid response number.
They go through our number, and then with our number we have a partnership with Latino Leadership Northwest, who cross-checks the lists because they're on our roster, and then from there we go. Latino Leadership Northwest helps us with all that, and then they submit it to Council for the Homeless.
LULAC works to see if there's other organizations those in need can be referred to for additional help, and if it's still needed,
we'll cover the full rent amount. If not, then it'll be partial based on the circumstances.
That money is paid directly to the apartment complex.
It's an important ethical value to ensure that children have a safe and warm home during the winter season, well, in all seasons, but more so now that we're entering into this cold time of the year.
Council for the Homeless allocating $50,000 from its budget to help support the fund and keep it going for as long as they can.
There may be some families that only need a month. They may need just a half a month. They may need a couple of months. It just depends on the situation. We're going to continue to help until the funds are gone.
Again, to determine eligibility, people first need to call LULAC's rapid response number, which is 503-388-5356. Now, this is all being done with limited funding, so for anyone who would like to donate, they can do so online at LULAC's Rapid Response and Cares Team Fund. In Vancouver, Celine Stevens, KGW News.